Hey YouTube, welcome back to another video. Thanks for joining me. So as you might have gathered from today's intro, today we're going to be looking at my Angelfish and Discus Aquarium. And before we make a start, if you're new to this channel and you enjoy aquascaping, bioactive setups, reptiles, amphibians, tropical fish, then this is the place to be. So if you haven't already, if you can do me a massive favor and hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. For those of you returning to the channel, thanks for joining me. I really appreciate your support as always. And if you could show me your support in this video by hitting that like button and leave me a comment, and just shows YouTube that you're enjoying this sort of content. But I think that's enough for me waffling on. Let's crack on with today's video. So welcome back. So like I said, today we're going to be looking at my Angelfish and Discus Aquarium. So this is a 40-gallon breeder aquarium. Now the angelfish I've had for quite a while. We had them back in the old reptile fish room before we moved into this one. Now they used to be housed in the 20-gallon tank as a community aquarium, and recently they've been upgraded to this 40-gallon. Now initially the plan was to obviously keep the angelfish and upgrade them into this tank, and this was going to be their permanent home. But on Valentine's Day, if you've been following this channel, my girlfriend gave me some money for some fish, and I went out to buy another angelfish and ended up picking up 3 discus. So what are you going to do? So these are fish I've been wanting for a long time, and we've got a spare 50-gallon down the bottom as well, and eventually now this tank will be housed pretty much in the 50-gallon, so we'll move the discus and the angelfish into that. But if you've been following this channel, you'll know I've been meaning to make a rack, but obviously with everything going on with lockdown, I've been unable to do that. I've had these aquariums for quite a while. I bought them before we moved into this house. I picked them up secondhand at a reasonable price. I think I got this one, the 40-gallon and the 50, for about £80, so maybe $100, something like that. So it's a really good buy, and it's obviously served a lot of use. I don't know what we're going to do with this tank once we move the angelfish and the discus into the 50, but again, there's plenty of options. This tank's currently just running on a Fluval 206 canister filter. This is the old style canister. Fluval canister filters, I think they're 207s, the up-to-date versions are now, which I have one on the community tank. This is probably the filter that's been running the longest in my fish room. It's probably been running for probably about 6 years. And obviously there's plenty of established media in there. I'm going to be adding an additional filter, another canister filter. I'm probably going to look at the Waze thermos, just because you can put the heater in into the filter, and then we'll run that one then on the 50-gallon once that's up and running. So at the moment I'm just using the simple glass heater, which runs the tank at about 28.5 to 29 degrees Celsius, and the fish seem to be happy in that sort of condition. As you might have noticed, this tank's been upgraded a little bit. When I say upgraded, I've added a few more plants in it just to make a bit more of interest. I've added a bit more hardscape in there. So it got me thinking the other day, on most of the videos you get to see this tank behind me when I'm sat on my desk, and it probably is one of the only tanks in here that hasn't actually had any sort of scaping, and probably didn't look the best in most of the videos. So I've added a couple of bunches of water sprite in there, which I had hanging around anyway, and they're just sort of floating in the tank at the moment, as well as there's the odd bits of Java fern and some Nubius and that sort of thing on there. But I'm not going to be looking to scape this tank. It's only a temporary measure, as I said, and obviously we'll be looking to try and get the discus and the angelfish into the 50-gallon as soon as all this madness is over. So at the moment I'm doing a water change on this tank every other day or every 2 days, just to keep on top of it. Obviously we've got the discus in there, which can be a little bit more sensitive to the water parameters. And we've also got a sulfur percostomus in there, which obviously causes a lot of detritus, a lot of mess. And I just want to make sure that we stay on top of the water quality for that. Obviously, he won't be in there permanently, and he won't be moving with the discus either. In terms of feeding this tank, so I try to keep a variety of food and a variety of dry food, so they get a combination of pellets, flakes, and they get some algae wafers from time to time. I've just tried them on Fluval bug bites, which they don't seem to love, but they do eat them. And they also get a lot of frozen food as well, so they get some brine shrimp, some daphnia, some bloodworms, and obviously beef heart as well for the discus. But try and make sure I give them a variety in their diet as well, just to give them the best chance of obviously thriving in this tank. But overall at the moment I'm really happy with this aquarium. I think it looks a lot better now. It's not just an empty bare bottom tank, and obviously the fish are doing really well in it at the moment. The community fish in there, so we've got a black phantom tetra in there, we've got a koi angelfish in there as well, and there's 3 rummy-nosed tetras as well as the sulfur percostomus. Now initially, and as well I mentioned on some of my last videos, I'm probably looking to get rid of those and put them into a pet shop and they can look to resell them. But the more I got to think about it the other day, we've got a 60-litre tub which I used to use to keep plants, and sometimes there's a quarantine tank in the old room. It's just full of old bits of plants and some media and things like that at the moment. So I'll probably try to empty that out, and we can add the community fish into that once we add a filter and a heater. I'll try to get a light on it as well. So that'll be coming up in future videos. So if you're not yet subscribed, then make sure that you are so you don't miss out on any of those upcoming projects. But I hope you've enjoyed checking out my discus and my angelfish tank today. Like I said, I update videos every week, so just make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of those. If any of you got any suggestions or anything you'd like to see in particular covered in a video, then please don't hesitate to comment in the section below, and I'll be sure to add that to my list and try and get that out for you as soon as I possibly can. But as always, I really appreciate the support, especially with everything that's going on at the moment. I know it's a difficult time for everybody. But I'd like to try and keep the content coming and try and keep you entertained as much as I can. But like I said, if there's anything you want to see in particular, I'll be more than happy to try and get that together for you. But like I said, enough from me waffling on for today's video, and enough from the angels, and enough from the discus, and we'll see you next time.